back to Waterbox Live.
The best day of the week right here. And we're announcing the winner of this Year of the Reef giveaway.
Yeah, so stick around till the end for that. Also, if you guys don't already know, we have a Independence Day sale going on right now. So this is a new one for us. We haven't, I don't believe, had this sale in the past.
July 4th?
Yeah, I think some other things have fallen a little bit ahead of it. But so,
Possibly.
anyways, from now until the 6th, you can save up to 15% off plus editions, aquarium, supplies, chemistry, and equipment. It's a great chance to get into a new water box, so definitely take advantage of that. Again, it's running from the 1st till the 6th. Or was it? No, it was the 30th till the 6th. So you have until Sunday evening.
Yep, it's not the 4th yet, so you got some time. And today is open Q&A, so we're gonna take questions on pretty much any topic, aquarium, water box, whatever. So start dropping your questions into the chat so the guys can grab those. So
ask away.
yes. And then
Plugged in over there?
Plugged into what?
The YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm not getting any activity.
Yeah, no, I mean, I got some coming through on my end.
people are jumping a little late.
Again, you guys, open Q&A today. We typically get more questions than we can answer, but that's why we dedicate one stream a month specifically to Q&A. So drop them in there now, and we'll answer as many as we possibly can. Again, I see a bunch more people joining in. We do have a sale going on right now for July 4th, Independence Day. Take advantage of that. It's up to 15% off site-wide. So if you're looking to get into an aquarium, do it now. Or anything, really. I know a lot of you guys in here already have water boxes, so if you need salt, you need supplements, or you need a new skimmer or something like that, now is a great time to do that. And also at the end of the stream, we're going to be, like Jess said, announcing the winner of the second giveaway for Year of the Reef.
Ooh, that mean we're like halfway through?
Yeah.
So, whoa. Yeah, so a new one has now begun, so do make sure to get entered into that. So it's every 3 months is a giveaway for the Year of the Reef. And do follow along with that series. We have another one coming out this weekend. So every other week on Sunday, a new Year of the Reef episode comes out. So
Yes.
This week is coming on to adding soft coral. So this build takes you all the way from receiving your aquarium through choosing equipment, going over all the really important topics to stocking. So it's a really great guide for anyone who's thinking about an aquarium, has a new one, just wants information on how to like set up an aquarium, a reef aquarium successfully from the beginning with easy, simple advice. So this is definitely one to check out. And then, like I said, we have a new giveaway that's now open that you can enter into since we just closed out the other one, and we'll announce the winner for that.
Yeah, so Jose asked, how do we enter that giveaway? So head over to waterboxaquariums.com/YOTR, which is an acronym for Year of the Reef. Also there on the homepage, you'll see a link as well. So again, waterboxaquariums.com/YOTR.
And there's social actions and everything to get more entries in throughout that time. So do take a look, take advantage every single 3 months that a new giveaway does open for that. So, and definitely check out the series too.
Yes, absolutely.
And if you have any questions,
Also, let us know where you're from. We love seeing where you guys are from. Let us know what questions you got about Waterbox Aquariums or keeping your aquarium, saltwater or freshwater. That's what we're here for. Again, live open Q&A. Ask us anything, as long as it's about aquariums.
Thank you for that clarification there on that one. But yeah, so this is our open time to get as many questions answered as possible. And if anyone who has already taken part in the Independence Day sale, let us know what you got or what you're thinking about getting. We always love to learn about new water box owners and what you guys are getting yourself into.
Got Legal Reefer coming from Central Florida. We got Carol coming from Jersey. Yellow 174 from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Everyone, everywhere.
Yeah. Massachusetts. Got any questions ready? Queue up, Keenan?
Not yet, but I have one. Do you think fish get scared of the fireworks, like dogs do?
So do you think fish get scared of the fireworks?
I I guess if you did them in your backyard,
If it was loud enough,
it
yeah.
is loud enough, and also you're gonna figure there is some
That, like,
shaking
vibration.
to it, that they might get spooked. I don't think, unless you're doing
They're not gonna
fireworks right
react the same
next
way.
to the aquarium, that it's gonna really cause any like stressful harm. But yeah, I'm sure every animal feels it. I can't help every 4th of July. I think about all the poor birds and squirrels and stuff that are just like running for their life
to
everywhere
cling to the tree.
because fireworks are going off.
My cat
constantly.
does not respond at all.
No, I
But
feel like cats are pretty chill about fireworks though.
yeah, probably in
Cats are
general.
just chill. Like, I don't know, they live their own life, do their own thing.
Yeah. I think mine's special. But
But yeah, I think all animals probably have some ability to kind of sense the fireworks. So
I always wonder what it is though. Like what this is so off topic.
I mean, July 4th is coming, so not really.
Like yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting. Like what
Because they're
what are-
loud as freak, yo. Like, they're loud and shake stuff,
Yeah, I
and
know.
it's like
Just, what
endless.
do they think it is? They're like at war or something.
I don't know. My dogs think that they should go fight them, so
Really? They want to go.
they're gonna
like,
go protect
chase
us
them
and
down.
bark them down, and yeah. So
Yeah.
it's always fun.
RO water or tap water for fresh water?
Depends on what you want to do, and how bad your water is from your tap, because sometimes your tap water is going to have way too much TDS and way too much chemicals and stuff like that, to where it's going to like cause more issues. However, if you use RO water, it is a great way to do it because you kind of know exactly what you're bringing in. Is you do need to remineralize it and add stuff back into it because RO water is so pure. So you can't just use straight RO water. The pH is too low. You don't really have any dissolved solids or any of the minerals and stuff that you need. So you do need to use a product to remineralize it. But at least you know you're not bringing in all the chemicals and the metals and stuff that you don't want from your tap water. It just really depends on how bad your tap water is.
Yellow said just had to get in touch with customer service for my new setup, and he's got to say 100. I guess 100%. Like, great.
Good. Customer service is great.
Yeah, we got a good team. I'm setting up a 230.6, dropped off Monday. Should I have a crew of people to help to get it into my house? Yes.
You need 4 people. A solid 4 people.
Solid 4 able-bodied individuals that can lift that thing.
Yeah, it's heavy. And it's long, it's large. You don't want to risk bumping into a wall or hitting the side of the cabinet or something like that and damaging your brand new water box. So 4 people is advised on that. If you can, get the glass suction cups or like rent a little lift that's going to help you kind of put it onto the cabinet. Anything that can ensure a safer transfer.
Yeah, and something that sometimes people don't think about, which is pretty trivial, is like watch your rings. Like if you have rings on or a belt
Yeah, any of
or
that.
something like that, that can scratch your glass, and you don't want to do that.
And for Year of the Reef, the first episode we have is like receiving and uncrating your aquarium. Just some really good advice on how to fully inspect and how to move it properly.
Recently bought some hermit crabs from a reputable LLC. Noticed apstation on some of the spare shells I got. What's the best method for a preemptive strike on a breakout?
Hopefully you've taken all that out. I know the ones that had aptasia on them. If they weren't in there for long and they weren't stressed, you're probably not likely going to have more aptasia show up unless some of the shells got lost somewhere and you didn't pull them. So you can add some peppermint shrimp in. They're probably the easiest thing to have in your aquarium to combat any aptasia that pops up. Now there is slight reports that peppermint shrimp, especially if they're hungry and they don't get enough food at feeding time or anything natural to feed on, they might pick at coral polyps just because they look a lot like aptasia. So do keep an eye on that. And also, it's better to keep them in groups. They're shy, they're nocturnal, and they hunt better in groups. So.
Can I replant trimmings of Rotala rhodos? Yeah, I'm not going to read that. You can probably read that.
Yeah, so pretty much most of your plants that you trim, you can replant those. A lot of times take them and put them kind of around the base because that's going to provide you a new one that's going to grow in really bushy, since the top part when you trim is usually kind of one of the bushier parts. Plant that back down at the bottom or you can start a new cluster or whatever, but they will root and grow perfectly fine. They might just not stay in the substrate as easily right away just because they don't have a root system holding them in place. So put them in there, take off the lower leaves, put the stem in, and just keep an eye on them from getting rooted up.
Panther says Happy Canada Day from Canada. Is it Canada Day?
I don't know.
Somebody ask AI or something. Or Adriana's in here, ask her.
What's Canada Day? What do you do with it?
I don't know. Let us know, Panther.
like to learn today.
What's Canada Day? We want to know. Adriana has a good question. I hope I don't rip this. We already got one up there. Can you discuss?
It's the University of Canadian Confederation.
Oh.
Okay.
Is that not like July 4th?
I don't know.
All right.
Can you discuss building a shallow reef tank using a frag tank? We could discuss that for a long time.
Yeah, it depends. I'm not sure what parts to discuss, but that's kind of their goal.
We have a whole series on it, actually.
We did do a frag. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's our older frag version, but it's the same concept. We did
We did a couple of them. We did the 16-inch one, and we did no, it was a 12-inch, and then we did the taller
Yeah,
one.
but we don't have the 12-inch anywhere. We didn't do a series on it. We did a couple like check-in videos. They're really old though, but the 16, we had the one at 5.4, and we had that set up here. We also did a video on how to move your aquarium with that one, and it was in the other studio as well. So you can find a couple builds and information on a frag that we did there. But yeah, that's the main point of them, is to have that kind of more look-down shallow reef. They're one of my favorite lines because I love to be able to look down on an aquarium, and I'm short, so it works out really well. But the view you'll get on the top of your aquarium looking down on corals, especially when you like turn off the flow, is something that you will never really get to see, unless you're doing maintenance and stuff, on a taller aquarium. But they look completely different, and it gives you a whole nother view on your aquarium. And the frags are really cool to do something if you want to add some mangroves to it. It is a little bit more limiting as far as size of fish though, so do to consider you are shorter in height and less gallon volume, so you really can't have as many tall or large fish in a frag versus the reef.
Yeah, it really does have a cool effect because you have the, you can look through the panels, but you also get that top-down look, almost like you're looking into a reef from above or something like that.
And the frag's very popular. Like I said, it's my favorite line.
Question about the Waterbox RODI system. TDS 1 is above 0, which filter needs to be changed? TDS 2 is at 0.
So if your TDS output water is reading above 0, then it's time for your DI cartridge to be changed. So generally 1's okay. Let it run at 1 if you want. You can always change it as soon as it hits 1, but like usually when it hits 2, I say definitely change out your DI cartridges. And your membrane, if that's still at 0, that's great. Your membrane has a long life still left on it. And we also do have a video that talks about when to change your carbon in your pre-filter based upon PSI, and kind of exactly when to change everything so that you don't let anything creep into your water. But output water above 0.1, the DI cartridges need to go.
Do you use an aquarium controller in your tanks in the studio? Great question.
In general, no. No.
Yeah, in general, no, we don't. We have one
We do.
over there.
I need to put it on. I do have an Apex that I need to put on an aquarium. Yeah. But no, in general, we don't run controllers because we always have people here keeping an eye on them. But there's no downside to a controller at all.
No, not at all. It's
No.
just, yeah, we run a little old school because 5 days a week we have people tending to the
Yeah,
aquarium,
yeah.
so.
And yeah, we've always run very simple. So you'll notice in pretty much all of our builds and stuff that we do is it's a very simplistic approach. It's straightforward, it's easy, it's not complicated. Not that controllers make it more complicated, but it is an advanced kind of piece of equipment to add. So a lot of times you won't see our builds include those, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with running them.
What's y'all's opinion on how to add the water to my new 110? Sand, then RODI, then salt? RODI, then salt, then sand? It's racking my brain. I only have a 40-gallon bird. Give me y'all's recommendation.
It will depend. So if you're using live sand, you cannot do sand, RODI, then salt, because then your live sand's dead. So you don't want to do that. If you're using dry sand, really you can do it whichever way you want. Usually what I would say, depends on how much of a rush you're in to fill it, but better to mix your salt water outside of the aquarium, so using your brute trash can, get that filled with 40 gallons. Depending on what size unit you have, that's only going to take you half to 3/4 of a day, kind of depending. Get that filled, mix the salt, add the sand, then add your first brute of salt water. And then go ahead and make your second batch of salt water in your brute trash can, another half a day or so, and then add that. And then do that to your filled, because having your aquarium put the RODI and then your salt and your system's running, and then you go to put the sand in, it's gonna make a freaking mess. Not that it won't clean up eventually, it's just days more of cloudy water. So if you just do sand, usually do sand, do your aquascape, then add your first water. If you're worried about the water kind of sitting for too long, you can always run a power head in it, but it's not like, you don't need it to be running at that point. And then just get it filled by the brute trash can is the ideal way.
Best advice for fighting green hair algae in my Waterbox 20 all-in-one. Thanks.
Ooh, hair algae.
It's a
on a
fun
20.
one.
Yeah, so if you have hair algae, figure out why you got it. So that's gonna be the first thing, is fixing the problem. And the problem is gonna be nutrients, phosphates, too much light, the wrong spectrum of light is generally gonna be your main thing. So nitrates and phosphates. Problem is with hair algae, if you have a lot of it, your nitrates and phosphates might read low. And you're like, oh, I don't have a nutrient problem. But you do, because the hair algae is just uptaking it all. So you really need to do those extra water changes and run phosphate media, even though it's not really showing up as elevated. Now that's gonna kind of slowly starve off the hair algae. In that size tank, I would take the rock out, scrub it in a bucket of salt water, get a majority of it off, and then add in hermit crabs, snails and stuff to kind of clean it. If you can, go to your local fish store and rent 1 or 2 turbo snails from them, and just know that you can bring them back. Let them
Did
eat
you
all the
say
hair.
rent?
Yes. They can't live in there forever, so you're gonna bring them
I
back.
feel like that's the first time I heard you say that.
Because turbo snails are great at eating it, but they're going to starve and then just make everything worse in your tank. Take them, let them clean up the algae, return them to your fish store. But if you don't fix why it's there, which is light, nutrients, that kind of stuff, then it's just going to come back. So you got to fix why.
I'm thinking of like a name for a snail rental company.
I'm pretty sure your local fish store has probably heard of it, as far as just like, I'm gonna buy it, but I'm gonna bring it back for some credit or something.
Yeah. I have your RODI 4-stage. Can you explain how to properly use the flush valve? Should the water still be running through the system when using the flush valve?
Yes, and we do have a YouTube video on this too, as far as just kind of using your RO and all the features, but the flush valve is basically when your system is on and water's flowing through it right before you make water and then at the end of water, ideally, and it doesn't have to be every single time, but the more you can use it, the better, is while the unit's on, you open the flush valve. And what that does do is going to put a huge amount of water over the membrane and clean it off. And then you just close it right up, about 5 seconds, all you need, not long. And what this does is a lot of sediment and things get stuck on your membrane because that's doing 98% of the work for your whole unit. And if you don't have a flush kit and you don't clean it regularly, your membrane's not going to last as long. So by doing that, it's kind of cleaning it off for you to extend the life of the membrane. So if you can, when you turn the unit on, because it's been sitting with some water stagnant in there, and then before you're done making water, turn it on again for about 5 seconds, and your membrane's going to last you a lot longer.
Oh yeah. If you haven't checked out our ROD, yes. Sorry, definitely check them out. Very popular.
We have a number of videos on it as far as features, how to install it, all of that. So,
Do pincushion urchins die after they are full grown? Well, aquarium full grown.
I mean, inverts have a lifespan, that's for sure. They don't reach full size and then just instantly die. But I think a lot of times with urchins is they're in aquariums and they don't have enough food. They are heavy algae eaters, you know? So when you have an urchin in an aquarium that is relatively clean, say they did the job, they cleaned up the algae or whatever, you just got it to look pretty, is they'll feed on that like microfilm of algae that's on the rock. And some of them will eat coralline algae too, but it's not enough for their diet. If you have an urchin in your aquarium and your aquarium is relatively algae free, you need to be taking a rock and like rubber banding or tying some seaweed or nori to it on occasion to give to the urchin to eat. And and that's going to keep them longer term. But they can't just survive usually on a clean aquarium long term as long as they should.
Thank you, Sean. Trumpet snail question. I have a 125 gallon freshwater sand substrate with 9 clown loaches less than a year old, 2 adult yo-yo loaches, and a few other fish. The snails are taking over. Loaches are not eating.
Oh. I mean, there's manual removal, which is like a battle in itself. You can also, a lot of times with like snails and stuff, is put in like some vegetables, like people use like zucchini or cucumber or a little bit of lettuce or something tied down somewhere. A lot of times the snails will come to it. And it's not an instant fix, but it's a food source for them. So a lot of times you'll be able to like every day put a piece in and pull out a larger number of snails. And well, loaches a lot of times will eat snails. I guess it's not a guarantee, or also if they're being fed regularly every day, they might not be that hungry for the snails. So you could try cutting back the food to see if they increase their eating of them, or look into maybe some other or larger fish that might pick at them too. But that's a battle. That's just a battle.
Some guys like just give up.
Just give up.
Linseed said S-Car go-to rentals.
Yeah, could you imagine these little, like, no go.
What fish do you recommend for a 25 gallon? Does getting a 30 gallon make much of a difference?
Oh, that's so open of a question. I'm guessing it's going to be freshwater for the clear mini 25 and 30. I'm going to guess. Or are we talking saltwater? So that'll depend a lot. Bigger is always better. Even 5 gallons can make a difference. Footprint can allow a lot more as far as size of fish. So, you know, anything that you can go for bigger is always going to be better in the long run for you. So depending on if it's salt or fresh, that would be a lot of my recommendation for type of fish.
Oh yeah, just so you guys know, we're giving away, not giving away, we're, well, we are giving away. We're announcing what we're giving away at the end of this live episode for the Year of the Reef.
Yep.
It's a $2,000 gift card. It's the second one we're giving away. The third one is open now, so head over to waterboxaquariums.com/YOTR. Get signed up for that. Hook to Cook, my favorite fishing channel. Can you go into detail about lighting and blue spectrum versus more cool white? I know more white light promotes algae growth, but some of my corals, like my Duncans, do better with the white light.
It's definitely a balance. If you go too low in the spectrum, so when we're talking about spectrum, like when we say 20K, 20K is higher blue, where if we talk about like 10K, it's going to be more on the white side. So the lower the spectrum, the more it's going to grow for algae and plants. So you will have more algae if you're going on that lower side of the spectrum. Most people keep it more towards the higher spectrum just because it has that blue, which like makes corals look better, everything pops. It's kind of just the trend of this hobby for the last 10 years is lots of blue light.
Did you say less blue light?
Lots of blue
Oh,
light.
I'm sorry.
So yes, if you go more white, you're gonna get more algae just because of the spectrum. But your Duncans should be okay with any light. I feel like Duncans should adjust to anything. Now, if you went from a whiter light and shifted up to blue or vice versa, you may see an adjustment period because it is a whole different spectrum for the corals. But Duncans should be fine in either. We also have to figure okay, if this one gives me more algae, but my one coral is happier, kind of weigh your options and maybe try a little bit more in the middle to it.
Is a heavily planted tank necessary for chili rasboras, or can they thrive in a minimal setup?
Yeah, I mean, no fish needs plants. I think it provides a more natural environment, and most fish are not going to be as confident and out and about in a bare tank. You know, even if it's fake plants, you need some kind of cover, something so it's not just super open water, because you're going to find fish are going to be way more shy. They're not going to naturally school as well. So with rasboras, they are better in groups for sure. So have a school of them And if it's not real plants, at least have, fake decorations or something to kind of fill it in. You'll find that any fish is going to be less out and about if there's nothing in there.
What are the best sand sifters for a nano tank? Should I just manually clean the sand weekly with water change? I want a kabuto, aka horseshoe crab.
Oh God. No horseshoe crab. 100% don't. They're not even good for a 100-gallon tank or a 200-gallon tank. Don't ever get a horseshoe crab. No, 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 no. And manually clean it.
You just broke her heart.
Yeah, I know.
Or him.
They're fun. They're so cool. But they should not be in the aquarium hobby whatsoever. And any store that sells them, they just should not. But manually cleaning your sand. You shouldn't have to really manually clean it, and you can't really do it yourself. You can't go in there and stir up your sand in your established aquarium. You're going to cause a lot of nutrient issues and gas bubbles and stuff. So you don't ever want to do that. You want natural sand sifters that are suited to your aquarium. So if you have a nano tank, you're going to want Sarah snails. Sarah snails are great. They do sand, they do glass, they do rock. They kind of go all over the place. They're nocturnal. They're super hardy, and they don't get big. And then maybe a couple Nacerius snails just to help keep the sand stirred up. But do not get a cucumber. Do not get a conch. Don't get a sand-sifting starfish. Don't get a horseshoe crab. None of those are going to survive in a long term in a nano aquarium or like horseshoe crabs really in any aquarium.
I wonder where do they import them from? Because are they not listed as endangered?
Horseshoe crabs?
I know they are in Florida at least.
Yeah, I don't know about any other places in the world or whatever. But I also think that they're not that hard to breed either. But yeah, I mean, how many thousands die in the aquarium hobby? So many. It's so bad. They're so cute though. People will buy them.
In the Indian River, very rarely see them alive.
Well, the ones in the aquarium trade are not coming from around here. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's why I wonder where.
Yeah.
Where? I'm going to look that up.
Google. Where are horseshoe crabs coming from?
Is this it?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the real life ones you find that are freaking like a huge dinner
There's a
plate
guy
size.
holding some in their hand. Like those are the ones you would see probably in a store.
Yeah.
This?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they bring in these tiny little ones into your local fish store or online, whoever, knowing that these things get like a foot across and they cannot be sustained by the microfauna and the food and the natural stuff in your aquarium. They get too big. They all die. It's one of the worst things that's brought into the aquarium trade for sure.
They're definitely imported from somewhere because I've even seen like on YouTube where there's certain countries that eat them.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like Southeast Asia, maybe?
That does not sound good.
It doesn't.
No. Yeah, but just don't get one. That is our horseshoe rant of the day.
Great question, though. How do you prepare your tank for hurricane season?
Pray. No.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Cross your fingers.
Yeah, figuring that we're in Florida, and of course, we're like hurricane
I
capital.
think I think Jersey, but I think they're still having a little bit of that up there, right? They're in New Jersey?
I don't know if Carol's in New Jersey.
Carol, are you in New Jersey? I swear you just said that.
If you remembered that, that'd be pretty good.
Well, I think she just said it.
Oh, I guess some do ride up the coast and hit the east or whatever. All right, so coming from Florida, Hurricane Central, if you can do it, get a generator, especially if you have a large aquarium. Like you can't risk that too, just power being out for a week, 4 days. I mean, and here in Florida, when we have hurricanes and it's 95 to 100 degrees outside, you don't have even a day that your aquarium can sustain those kind of temperatures without everything dying. So you do need to be able to have a generator to keep the flow moving, also maybe even some fans or stuff like that to try and help keep the water cool. But oxygen comes to be probably one of the number one things after temperature fluctuations. Same thing with blizzards. It really comes down to temperature is a big deal. So if you can't have a generator, if a smaller aquarium, a little USB kind of thing works well for battery backups, just to run essential equipment. and also to run some kind of cooling or heating in the area of your aquarium at least. Also, if a hurricane's coming, and I do this every time because I have axolotls at home. They're cold water, like for real cold water. Is if a hurricane's coming or a threat of it, or just in the summer, I usually keep them, is like big bottles of water that are frozen. Just keep them in your freezer at all times. Those can kind of go a long way with floating into your aquarium and kind of dropping the temperature, which is a huge deal in hotter states. Same thing in cold, if you're doing blizzard, heat packs, warming blankets, that kind of stuff that you can do to offset that. But with hurricane, it comes down to loss of power for that long. I mean, we've been lucky here to only have to run a generator a couple times. Had to do it at my house a couple times. But when hurricanes hit, you can be, 4 hours without power, or you could be weeks, depending on where you're at and stuff like that. So,
or your house could be gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Could.
Worst case scenario.
Then aquarium doesn't really matter at that point. But things to consider is oxygen exchange and temperature are your main ones that you'd be able to control.
Carol said that they lost. They're taking Hurricane Sandy.
It's hard. I mean, if it's long term, you're already fighting everything, like trying to figure out your food and like existing in those kind of scenarios where you don't have power and stuff during a hurricane, to add an aquarium onto it. So trying to be as prepared with everything beforehand is really key. And it still won't necessarily be a full success, but just to kind of keep it from being a complete disaster. Make friends who have other places nearby that might not have lost power that can like help take things in would also be good.
Yeah, it's a tough situation. Appreciate all the questions, you guys. We do this open Q&A the first Wednesday of every month.
Yep.
So if you guys have some questions that you really want to get out there, we try to get to as many as we can. We obviously don't get to all of them. We'd probably have to sit here for a few hours.
Yeah, we could.
However, again, first Wednesday of every month, we do the open Q&A, and we appreciate all those questions. But we do have, Keenan, you ready so we got a winner of the second round.
Woo-hoo!
The second $2,000 gift card of Year of the Reef. You guys have been waiting patiently. We're going to draw that now, so whenever you guys are ready.
We'll notify the winner by email.
Yeah,
Yes.
we'll notify the winners by email tomorrow morning.
Let's do
Ready?
it.
Go.
Winner.
Tara Woods. Woo! Congratulations, Tara. I don't know if you're here or not, but you'll find out either way by email.
$2,000 to go spend.
Yeah.
It's a great
That's a
time
big
for
deal.
it. We have a sale going on right now.
For those of you that didn't win, there's still 2 more chances. So make sure you guys follow Year of the Reef. There's a whole playlist on YouTube. Jess and Ivan and the whole team have been working very hard on this series. So definitely take a look at it. If you want to visit the landing page, it's waterboxaquariums.com/YOTR, not LOTR for Lord of the Rings.
There's a link on the homepage.
Yeah, so just visit the homepage too. And yeah, what else am I missing here? Don't take advantage of the sale we got going on. Ends on the 6th.
We'll not be here for the next couple weeks.
We will not be live. I know you guys are going to be really sad for the next couple of weeks because
We're back on the 23rd?
Third.
23rd. So we'll be back on the
Oh, you
23rd.
guys are really giving me a whole lot of time to fix the jet lag.
Oh yeah, no, get your butt back in. Sorry.
I'm crossing the Atlantic. I'm going to be in Europe for 2 weeks. So
Yep. So we won't be here for the next couple weeks on the live. We'll be back on the 23rd. I believe at that point we're announcing something, so it's definitely worth tuning in at that point, I would have to say. So mark your calendars. You do want to join us on the 23rd,
Yes.
A, because you'll miss us, of course, but second, because we'll actually be making a pretty big announcement at that time.
yes. So we always, as always, guys, we appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you in a few weeks.
See ya.
Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. For more information on Waterbox Aquariums, visit waterboxaquariums.com.
We're live every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Make sure to tune in, and we'll see you next week.